This is a relatively new mall compared to the others that we've seen on this channel. And it's an outdoor mall at that, just like a certain other mall I've visited near Richmond. However, this one doesn't seem to be doing nearly as well, which is a shame, because it does look rather nice if you ask me. Turns out there isn't a lot of information that was immediately available on this mall. Who knew? But I found something anyway when I dug into the newspaper archives. For the low price of $115 million, Taubman Centers would develop the Stony Point Fashion Park in 2002 and open on September 18, 2003. Built to represent a pedestrian street, it would feature a combined total of 90 tenants with the anchors Saks Fifth Avenue, Dillard's, and Dick's Sporting Goods. It would also announce itself as a dog-friendly center, provided they're leashed, attended, and cleaned up after. One thing worth mentioning is that the outdoor mall opened the same day Hurricane Isabel made landfall in the Outer Banks. And while I can't find that paper now, I do distinctly remember a footnote stating that the mall staff were not going to let a hurricane stop them, even as the hurricane swept northward. The outdoor mall would open as scheduled, but planned events for the day, which included a ribbon-cutting ceremony, were cancelled due to the weather. While damage was apparent in Richmond at the time, the worst of the hurricane was experienced on Hatteras Island in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, as well as the Hampton Roads region of Virginia. It's a Monday afternoon in 2023. I know, Monday is not the best time to portray a mall, this one especially, but that was the day that worked out for me. I'm a victim of circumstance. That said, one thing I will say is that I came back in 2024 with a few friends and, well, things haven't really changed too much, but there is a pretty cool record store here. So if you like music, that's one reason for you to come out. Another thing to mention is that the mall not only opened within weeks of the Short Pump Town Center on the northwest side of Richmond, but it was also a direct competitor of the Stony Point Fashion Park. And I figured I'd take a look at the satellite imagery of the time, and you get an interesting picture of the two malls back then. Despite being near very affluent neighborhoods and business parks, Stony Point Fashion Park seems almost isolated with only a freeway interchange and a half connecting them, while Short Pump is situated along a busy primary road near the freeway at the edge of a relatively new retail corridor with more developments on the way. I have to wonder if location played a role, big or small, in Stony Point Fashion Park falling off, because it isn't exactly a bustling mall, and a 2008 paper from the Times-Dispatch corroborates this sentiment, describing the mall as a locked island. As for Short Pump, Well, that's a video for another day. Something's wrong. There are not many people here at all. I'm not sure if I just count on a slow period or if this place is hurting. It wasn't entirely bad, however, as dinner theater Cinebistro would arrive in 2010, alongside a designer retailer known as BCBG Max Azria. However, despite their efforts, Taubman Centers would wind up selling the mall in October 2014 to Starwood Capital. The sale was part of a package deal of 7 shopping centers that totaled around $1.4 billion, and by this time, only 60 tenants were present at the Stony Point. While you still had high-end tenants like Brooks Brothers and Tiffany & Co., no longer could you find Louis Vuitton, Betsy Johnson, or Cole Haan. And to make matters worse, Dick's Sporting Goods was closing its doors by September 19, 2018, a vacancy that persists as of the making of this video. Well, that's disappointing. But 3 out of 4 isn't that bad. Why was that off? Renovations were made to update storefronts, as well as add pedestrian cut-throughs, a dog park, and a children's play area, and attempts were made to draw in new tenants, but those tenants would be more of a local variety. And in 2023, just after I came around, the Virginia ABC would approve of an open container policy at the Stony Point Fashion Park that allowed customers to have alcoholic drinks while walking the mall. But in 2024, management has refused to give up, bringing in 2 new restaurants, Southern Kitchen and RVA Food Co. Lab. A look at the mall's current directory shows a handful of high-end mainstays mingled in amid local businesses, with Saks Fifth Avenue and Dillard's still anchoring the center. Something that does stick out to me is that the mall was sold in 2022 to Horizon Capital based out of Florida, but Jones Lang LaSalle is listed on the website. Perhaps they're the management firm. It'll be interesting to see how things play out for this place going forward. Who knows? Maybe I'll be back in a few years. I think these outdoor malls have the potential to be and look the best that they can be, and this particular mall does hit a lot of right notes for me. Plenty of places to sit and hang out, and a decent amount of amenities to offset cold winters, when that is a factor. Even a few fountains sprinkled around, and it does have some canopies for you to get out of the sun or inclement weather, but I do think it could use some more. In fact, my biggest problem here had nothing to do with the mall, but the day itself. It was 100 degrees with southern levels of humidity. I'm already biased against summer, and that combined with humidity just turns this into hell on earth. But what better way to cool off than to sit down for a late lunch and get a bite to eat and wash it all down? I opted to keep it simple and I went for Nino's. And well, it's decisively average pizza. Like Sbarro levels of average. It's not bad, but it's not going to be anything you'll remember. But the owner of the place is friendly, and you can't go wrong when you need a cold drink. That helped make the day much more bearable as I meandered and put some steps in. You do have plenty of activities around, between walking, cornhole, scaled up Connect 4, even a play area for your kids or pets, but you still need something to draw people out and hang out here. And I doubt high-end retail alone will do that. But also, the isolation of this place isn't exactly great. I personally want to push for better accessibility to this place, but with all the developments around the mall now, those options are limited. I do see community events hosted, such as Cars and Coffee, which is a good start, but you could go further with that. But, at the end of the day, time will tell what will come of this place. Until next time, Richmond, this is Doomie Grunt wishing you, and the Stony Point Fashion Park, farewell, and good luck in the future.